Filming a documentary that features animals can be one of the most fulfilling jobs to take on. It can also be one of the most challenging, both physically and mentally. So when we're filming with animals, how do we plan for, mitigate, and overcome those challenges? Well, today I am joined by the creators of one of the world's premier nature documentary series, Planet Earth 3, to share 9 surprising strategies to help you improve your ability to film with animals. And if working on a series like Planet Earth interests you, stick around for the end where we will have the executive producer share his hard-earned wisdom on who this job really is right for. Hey everyone, if you're new here, my name is Austin Meyer. I am an Oakland-based documentary filmmaker, National Geographic Explorer, and on this channel, I share the field-tested skills, mindsets, and lessons that have helped me on my journey as a documentary filmmaker. I haven't mentioned it on the channel yet, but I host a podcast called the Austin Meyer Podcast, where I interview the world's best documentarians about how they craft the stories they tell. When Planet Earth 3 recently debuted, which is arguably the highest level doc series ever made on animals, I was very grateful that they agreed to be on the podcast. In the episode, I chat with executive producer Mike Gunton and Prakash Matata, who's a freelance cinematographer based in India who filmed a sequence for the Forests episode of the show featuring wild dogs. So today's video brings together decades of experience filming animals. And here are our top 9 strategies. The first is to get close. The closer we get to the animals we're filming, the more we are able to document not only the nuances of their behavior, but also their interior experience. We can draw viewers into their world rather than making viewers feel distant and detached.
You need to get close. Now that means literally close, physically close, but it also means emotionally close. Now, sometimes you just can't get the camera physically close, so you have to do it on the end of a telephoto lens. And also part of that, you have to understand animals. Some animals will let you get close, some animals won't. So one of the tips I think is understand your animal, get to know your animal, what type of animal it is, but also what situation it is in. When animals are mating or courting, you can get a lot closer to them because they've got something else on their mind. If they're hunting, you probably don't want to get that close to them.
As Mike was referencing there, tip number 2 is to understand the animals you are filming. One of the reasons Prakash got the call to work on Planet Earth 3 was because he was already an expert in the hunting dogs that the Planet Earth team wanted to document.
Even if you don't know the species, it's better to learn whatever information you get about the species. And also, if there's a researcher who's been working on it, try to talk to them and understand what's the kind of behavior they do in such and such a situation and stuff like that, which will help you to plan your shots better.
Even though the natural history genre of documentary filmmaking seems incredibly spontaneous, it's also meticulously planned. Beat by beat shot lists are standard. So the more you understand the animal you're filming, the more prepared you will be to tell their story. Spend time with them, talk to relevant experts, and learn all there is to know. It will pay off in the shots you're able to get and the story you're able to tell. Essentially, it's a lot of the same rigorous work we have come to expect when documenting human participants. Which leads me to strategy number 3. Treat animal participants like you treat human participants. As someone who focuses on documenting issues related to farmed animals, I am often right next to the animals I film. And usually I am the guest in their spaces, coming into their barn or their pasture with my film equipment. Whether it's a farmed animal or maybe you're filming your dog or cat, understanding their environment and respecting their environment is not only key to a better scene, but it also builds trust with the animal. Think about this. Do you film people immediately upon entering their home? Or do you say hello and build a connection without the camera first? Do you keep sticking a camera in someone's face when they are frustrated and clearly don't want you to be there? Or do you put the camera down and give them their space? If you're truly paying attention and listening to the animals you film, they will offer you signals of when they are ready to be filmed or when they don't want you there. Listening to and respecting animals' boundaries is key to capturing their natural personalities and behaviors rather than making them feel uncomfortable. Of course, there are differences between filming humans and non-human animals, but there are more similarities than most people realize. If you respect animals as individuals rather than looking at them as just objects for your film, you will see improved and more ethical results. Now, if you're filming wildlife, we still want to disturb the animals we are filming as little as possible, which leads me to tip number 4. Shh, be quiet.
Keep quiet and keep upwind, because animals don't like things that are out of changing their world because they're hypersensitive. They're constantly scanning and assessing their world. So you want to disturb them as little as possible.
If you don't disturb them, you will not only make their lives better, but also document more authentic behavior. And what is one of the best strategies to help you document the behavior to the best of your ability? It's tip number 5, learn how to edit.
That is very, very important because that's when you realize, okay, as an editor, what they would require for the shots and stuff like that. So I would suggest, if you're shooting, you also edit and start making your own videos, which will be very helpful for you in the field so that okay, this is the stories. Because it's very important as a natural history cinematographer, you're also a director.
Once you edit a sequence like the ones in Planet Earth, you'll have a much deeper understanding of what kind of shots are necessary to tell a story. And even if you know how to edit, make sure you practice editing the specific types of sequences for the projects you want to work on. And speaking of types of shots, strategy number 6 is to vary wides and tights. When filming animals that are unpredictable and move very fast, consider being slightly more aggressive with your changes of focal lengths, so that you can edit together an engaging sequence. When filming people, I might hang out on a wide for a while, because I usually have plenty of options later in the scene to grab a tight, but you might not have that luxury when you're filming animals. So once you have the wide in the bag, consider zooming in to get your tight while you still have a chance. Strategy number 7 is all about your mental approach.
But you do have to be patient and you have to be imaginative. You have to keep thinking. You can't just sit there and hope. Think about what story you want to tell. What's the best photographic approach? Is it done on long cinematic shots? Is it done on fast cutting shots? Is it done from animal point of view? Is it done from a rival's point of view? What I always think about is the edit. How is this going to play out in the edit? I think most natural history filmmakers would say it's the cutting room is where the stories are told. Replicating that experience that the person who is there observing and filming this piece of behavior, replicating that experience and translating that into the cutting room. So again, the imagination is how am I seeing this story? If it's a courtship story, am I seeing this as two stupid guys who just are never going to get their, they're fighting over something they shouldn't have fought? Or is it actually, this is really brutal, this is the most important moment in their lives? Or is it actually, this guy's really good, this guy's really bad, but maybe this is his chance to outcompete the cocky guy who's always gets the girl. Those sorts of story approaches, when you start to frame it in those sorts of ways, then you start to think about how you shoot it, how you ultimately will tell it.
Strategy number 8 is to communicate with your team, not just your director or producer, but everyone involved in the production.
Driver, the guide, or the researcher, communication with them is very important. I always try to see and portray they are the experts. Of course, they are the experts. I don't take over saying, okay, I'm the expert. It's important to leave them because they would have spent years and years in that location. So I take all their information and I take all their suggestions. If they are sure that the animal is going to come there, I just believe them.
And tip number 9 is to not forget about sound. When we're filming the beauty of animals and nature, and when there isn't dialogue to record, it can be easy to forget about how important sound is to bring the story to life. But make sure to have a plan when it comes to recording sound. If you're very close to the animal you're filming, it may be easy enough to grab just from a shotgun mic on top of your camera. But keep in mind that the majority of natural history documentaries like Planet Earth are filmed without sound. The sound is added in later. If you find yourself in a situation where you cannot record sound while filming, either because of proximity to the animal or the equipment you're using, see if you can do a production day fully focused on sound recording. Get your mic as close to the animal as possible. Record footsteps in the grass that can be used as Foley. Record ambient sounds in the environment. You'll be happy to have those assets once you get into post to bring your story to life. Now, if you're this far into the video, chances are you are very interested in filming animals. Maybe you dream of working on a production like Planet Earth 3. Well, if that is you, here is how executive producer Mike Gunton characterizes the job.
It's not a glamorous job. It's a fun job, but it's not a glamorous job. And I think it's fun if you enjoy that. It's a strange mixture of insane, urgent, crazy action and lots of periods where frustratingly nothing happens.
And the level of patience this job requires cannot be overstated.
So first year was 2 months. You
were in the forest for 2 months.
Yeah. It was almost like 60 days. And second year, it was like, I think it was around 30 to 35 days. Yeah. So, and this is just for a 6-minute sequence.
All right, folks, that's it for this week's video. I hope you got some value out of it. And if you did, jump into the comments. Which of these 9 strategies resonated with you the most? Or which ones didn't we cover? Let us know. And to hear the full podcast episode where we get into all the ins and outs of making Planet Earth 3, head on over to the Austin Meyer Podcast. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Until then, go out and tell some stories.